Hi, I'm John Morris with the Peoria Riverfront Museum. Welcome to the museum for Celebrate Illinois, an exhibition going on right now through June 3rd. Just wanted to make a little video to give you a taste of what it is we have at the museum. First of all, let me say this is the largest, most comprehensive, locally curated exhibition in the history of the museum. So let's go inside. First, though, let me acknowledge that this exhibition is made possible by the Prairie Home Alliance and all of these donors and sponsors who really support our ability to give you a first-rate exhibition, the best of its kind in Illinois during our bicentennial year. Let's go celebrate Illinois. I'm going to introduce you to someone you should know as we come into the galleries and celebrate Illinois. This is Lottie Phillips. Lottie is the curator of this exhibition, Celebrate Illinois. How long did it take you to do this exhibition?
John, it took about a year to put together this exhibition, and that included putting together the more than 200 objects that represent Celebrate Illinois.
More than 200 objects in here. A number of those are from our permanent collection here, about 31 from our permanent collection, and we borrowed from how many different folks?
About 42 individuals and organizations.
And some of those included who?
Smithsonian Institution, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum and Library. We also have objects from Knox College and the Dirksen Congressional Center.
Well, I can tell you that all 4 U.S. presidents connected to Illinois are represented in this exhibition, and there are so many other objects to see that tell stories. We like to say objects tell stories, stories inspire people. Come and you will be inspired. I'm going to ask Lottie to start with the first object in this exhibition, explaining a little bit about it, and then you'll hear her talk about more objects throughout the exhibition. Lottie, tell us what we're seeing here.
Great, so thanks, John. What you see here is a quilt, which is a map of Illinois, 1888. It is part of the museum's permanent collection, and it represents our folk art. It was a gift of Merle Glick in 2006, and here you can see a map of the 102 counties that make up Illinois. On display here is John Deere's plow from 1838. In 2013, the Smithsonian Magazine selected this plow as one of the 101 objects that made America. Deere's plow was chosen from 137 million artifacts held by the Smithsonian. This is one of the many objects we have on display in the agricultural section that highlights the significance of agriculture in Illinois. Seen here is one of the many objects from the Peoria Riverfront Museum permanent collection. This is a silver goblet that belonged to President Abraham Lincoln's wife, Mary Todd Lincoln. It was passed down by their eldest son, Robert, to his daughter, Mary, and their son, Lincoln Isham. Isham was the last direct descendant of Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln. You can see inscribed on the goblet the initials ML. This was a gift to the Peoria Riverfront Museum by Terry Terhune in loving memory of Mrs. Elizabeth Talbot Heydrich. On display here is a cufflink worn by President Abraham Lincoln on the night he was assassinated at Ford's Theater in April 1865. This piece is on loan from the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum and Library. Seen here are the memoirs of U.S. Grant. President Ulysses S. Grant completed his final revisions on Volume 2 on July 19, 1885, just days before passing away on July 23, 1885. President Grant's wife, Julia, received the first royalty check for $200,000, the largest royalty ever at that time. Julia ultimately received $450,000 in royalties. The memoirs were published by Charles Webster Co., which was owned by Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain. Since its initial publication, these memoirs have never been out of print. Seen here are objects on loan to us from Eureka College. They are objects that belonged to President Ronald Reagan, the only Illinois president who was born here. Ronald Reagan studied at Eureka College, gaining a degree in economics and sociology. He continued to have a warm feeling of Illinois and Eureka, and that is seen in the inaugural address from his gubernatorial election. The handwritten note begins with, "Dear friends." Seen here is a pen that President Barack Obama used to sign his first executive order in 2009. This pin is on loan to us from President Barack Obama's Secretary of Transportation, Ray LaHood. Seen here is another object from Peoria Riverfront Museum's permanent collection. This is a Frank Lloyd Wright reclining armchair from 1903. Wright is arguably the most important innovator of American architecture, having completed over 500 iconic structures in his lifetime. This was a gift of Mr. and Mrs. Walter Swardinsky in 1987. On display here is a helmet and pair of batting gloves on loan from Chicago Cubs player Ben Zobrist. He was named World Series MVP after delivering the game-winning hit in extra innings of the 7th game of the World Series in 2016.
We're right back here where we started, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to Lottie Phillips' personal tour made just for you of some of the highlights of Celebrate Illinois. What is your favorite thing about Celebrate Illinois, Lottie?
I think my favorite thing about Celebrate Illinois is the goal that people will come through, see the exhibition, and be inspired to celebrate Illinois and be proud of their state.
Celebrate Illinois. Thanks. We'll see you here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. Thanks for joining us.